Vincent sat in the dimly lit room, the tension palpable as he glanced around at his men. They were gathered in a makeshift war room, their faces a mix of concern and resolve. The news of Rei's kidnapping had spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of fury within Vincent. He could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him, and with each passing minute, his anxiety grew. "Get the intel on the rival gang now," Vincent barked, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. The men scrambled into action, typing furiously on laptops and making calls to gather information. Vincent paced the room, his mind racing. He couldn't lose Rei. Within minutes, one of his top lieutenants, Marco, approached him with a grim expression. "We've tracked down the location where they're holding him. It's an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. They're heavily armed and expect trouble." Vincent's jaw tightened as he clenched his fists. "They won't be expecting us. We'll hit them fast and hard." He turned to his men, his commanding presence filling the room. "Listen up. Rei is our priority. We're going in to get him, no matter the cost. I want the element of surprise on our side. We'll split into two teams, one to create a distraction and draw their attention, while the other secures Rei." The room buzzed with murmurs of agreement, his men rallying behind his plan. They were used to following Vincent's lead, his reputation as a ruthless Mafia boss, earning him both respect and loyalty. "Get the weapons and gear. We move in 10 minutes, Vincent ordered, his voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through him. "And remember, we're not just rescuing him, we're sending a message." As the men prepared, Vincent's mind was consumed by thoughts of Rei, his laughter, his defiance, the way he challenged Vincent in ways no one else dared. The image of Rei's frightened face, taken against his will, fueled Vincent's determination. He couldn't let fear consume him. He had to be the protector he promised to be. When the teams were assembled, Vincent shared one last glance with his men. "Stay sharp, no mistakes." The drive to the warehouse was filled with an electric tension, Vincent's focus unwavering. The city lights blurred past as they approached their target. The warehouse loomed ahead, a stark silhouette against the night sky, and Vincent's heart raced with a mix of fear and anger. As they parked a safe distance away, Vincent gathered his team. "Let's move." The first team took position, creating a diversion with a series of controlled explosions and gunfire aimed at drawing the gang members out. The sound of chaos erupted around them, a symphony of violence designed to confuse and distract. "Now!" Vincent shouted, leading his team toward the warehouse. They moved swiftly, their training kicking in as they navigated through the shadows. The adrenaline coursed through Vincent's veins, sharpening his senses as he focused on the mission. Inside the warehouse, the atmosphere was chaotic. Vincent could hear the rival gang members shouting, trying to regroup in the wake of the surprise attack. The sight of them stumbling in confusion only fueled Vincent's fury. He signaled to his team to split up, and they moved quickly, taking down any threats that crossed their path. With calculated precision, Vincent advanced deeper into the warehouse, navigating through the labyrinth of crates and machinery. The sounds of gunfire and shouting filled the air, but he kept his mind focused on finding Rei. Each moment felt like an eternity, but he pushed through, his determination unwavering. Finally, Vincent spotted a door at the far end of the warehouse, slightly ajar. He could hear muffled voices inside, and his heart raced at the thought that Rei might be just behind that door. He motioned for his men to follow him as they approached, moving in silence. With a swift kick, Vincent burst through the door, weapon raised. What he saw made his blood boil. Rei was bound to a chair, his face pale and terrified, surrounded by several rival gang members who were caught off guard. "Get away from him!" Vincent shouted, his voice booming with authority. Chaos erupted as the rival gang members scrambled to defend themselves. Vincent didn't hesitate. He charged forward, taking down one of the attackers with a swift punch, while his men moved in to secure the area. The air was thick with tension as gunfire erupted, but Vincent's focus remained solely on Rei. "Vincent!" Rei cried, a mix of relief and fear in his voice. "I'm here, Rei. I've got you," Vincent reassured him, his heart racing as he fought off the remaining gang members. He could see the fear in Rei's eyes, and it only fueled his resolve to protect him. After a fierce exchange, Vincent and his team overpowered the last of the rivals, leaving the warehouse in silence. Panting heavily, Vincent rushed to Rei's side, kneeling before him. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice laced with concern, as he carefully untied Rei's restraints. I'm fine," Rei stammered, though his eyes were wide with lingering fear. "I was so scared, Vincent." Vincent looked deeply into Rei's eyes, his expression softening. "I'm sorry I wasn't here sooner, but you're safe now. I won't let anyone hurt you again." As Rei was finally free, the weight of their ordeal settled between them. The air was thick with unspoken emotions, both aware that this experience had changed everything. The atmosphere was thick with tension as Vincent and his men secured the area around Rei. The echoes of gunfire faded, replaced by the heavy silence of the abandoned warehouse, punctuated only by the labored breathing of those still standing. Vincent's heart raced as he pulled the last rope free, freeing Rei from the confines of the chair. "Are you hurt?" Vincent asked, scanning Rei's face for any signs of injury. His protective instincts surged as he stood between Rei and the chaos that had just erupted. "I'm okay," Rei replied, though the tremor in his voice betrayed his fear. "But we need to get out of here." Just as Rei spoke, the warehouse door burst open, and several rival gang members stormed in, their eyes wild with rage and determination. The leader, a tall man with a scar running down his cheek, stepped forward, a sinister smile playing on his lips. "Thought you could just waltz in here and take what's ours, Sinclair," he sneered, leveling a gun at Vincent. "You're in over your head." Vincent stepped forward undeterred. "You have no idea what you're up against. Let Rei go, and maybe I'll let you walk away from this." The gang members laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the warehouse. "We're not afraid of you, Sinclair. You think you can take us on alone?" With a swift motion, Vincent drew his weapon, the glint of steel catching the dim light. "You're going to regret underestimating me." The standoff was electric, both sides poised for action. Rei watched in awe as Vincent's demeanor shifted, the calm intensity of a seasoned leader emanating from him. He could see the fire in Vincent's eyes, a fierce determination to protect him at all costs. "Now!" Vincent shouted, and chaos erupted once more. Bullets flew as both sides engaged in a furious exchange of fire. Rei ducked behind a stack of crates, his heart racing, as he watched Vincent move with an agility that left him breathless. Vincent navigated the battlefield with precision, taking down rival gang members with a combination of skill and brute strength. He moved like a force of nature, each calculated move a testament to his prowess. Rei's admiration grew as he witnessed Vincent's unwavering resolve, his heart swelling with emotions he could hardly comprehend. "Stay down!" Vincent shouted over his shoulder, his voice fierce as he took down another attacker. Rei nodded, heart-pounding, knowing he had to trust Vincent. As the firefight raged on, the gang leader continued to taunt Vincent, desperate to regain control of the situation. "You think you're the hero here? You're just a man playing a dangerous game." Vincent paused, his gaze locking onto the leader with an intensity that made Rei shiver. "I'm not just any man. I'm the one who's going to end you." With that, Vincent charged forward, determination fueling his every move. The rival leader fired his weapon, but Vincent was faster, diving to the side and returning fire with precision. Rei held his breath as the two men collided in a brutal showdown, fists and bullets flying. Vincent's instincts kicked in, and he maneuvered around his opponent, landing powerful blows that sent the rival stumbling back. The warehouse reverberated with the sounds of their struggle, and Rei could hardly believe the strength and determination on display. Finally, Vincent gained the upper hand, pinning the rival leader against a wall. The man struggled, but Vincent's grip was unyielding. "You picked the wrong fight," Vincent hissed, his voice low and dangerous. Rei's heart raced as he watched the confrontation unfold. He could see the fear and desperation in the rival leader's eyes, but it was Vincent's unwavering focus that captivated him. This was the man who had fought tooth and nail to protect him, and in that moment, Rei realized just how deeply he felt for Vincent. "Vincent, look out!" Rei shouted, instinctively feeling the danger even before it happened. The gang leader's last-ditch effort came in the form of a desperate swing, but Vincent was quicker. He sidestepped the attack, using the momentum to his advantage. With a final, powerful blow, he knocked the leader to the ground, leaving him incapacitated. Breathing heavily, Vincent straightened up, surveying the aftermath. His men had taken care of the remaining gang members, the warehouse now silent, save for the sound of labored breathing. Vincent turned to Rei, the fierceness in his eyes softening as he approached. "Are you okay?" he asked, reaching out to cup Rei's face with his hand. Rei nodded, his heart pounding not just from fear, but from the overwhelming relief of having Vincent by his side. "I'm fine. Thanks to you." Vincent let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding, pulling Rei into a fierce embrace. "I was so worried," he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. "I thought I'd lost you." Rei melted into the embrace, feeling safe in Vincent's arms. "You saved me," he whispered, his heart swelling with gratitude and something deeper. The way Vincent had fought, the lengths he had gone to protect him, Rei felt an undeniable bond forming between them. As they stood amidst the wreckage of the warehouse, both men knew that this moment had changed everything. The danger had brought them closer, revealing the depth of their feelings in a way that words alone could never express. The dust began to settle in the warehouse, but the adrenaline still coursed through Rei's veins. Vincent led him away from the remnants of the confrontation, his strong arm wrapped protectively around Rei's shoulders. They stepped into the cool night air, the chaos of the battle fading behind them, leaving only the soft sounds of their breathing. They found a secluded spot behind a stack of crates, away from the chaos of the warehouse, where the moonlight illuminated the space with a gentle glow. Vincent turned to face Rei, concern etched on his handsome features. "Are you really okay?" he asked, searching Rei's eyes for any sign of distress. Rei took a moment to gather his thoughts, the weight of the past hours crashing down on him. I don't know. I've never been in a situation like that before. It was terrifying," he admitted, his voice trembling slightly. Vincent stepped closer, his intensity softening as he reached out to cup Rei's cheek. "I'm sorry you had to go through that. I never wanted you to be in danger. I should have protected you better." The warmth of Vincent's hand against his skin sent a wave of comfort through Rei, but it also stirred something deeper within him. "You did protect me," Rei replied, a hint of disbelief in his tone. "You fought those men to save me. I saw how strong you are, how much you care." Vincent's expression shifted, vulnerability creeping into his gaze. "I would do anything for you, Rei. I know I'm not the easiest person to be around, and my life is complicated. But with you, it feels different." Rei's heart raced at Vincent's admission. The weight of his own feelings began to surface, and he found himself grappling with the truth of his emotions. "I've been scared, Vincent," he confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. "Scared of getting involved in your world, scared of losing my independence." "Oh, I understand," Vincent replied, his tone earnest. "But you're not alone in this. I want you to choose to be with me, not because of obligation or fear, but because you want to. I care about you, and I want to show you that my life can be safe, even with the danger that comes with it." Rei's breath caught in his throat as he processed Vincent's words. The sincerity in his voice reached deep into Rei's heart, unraveling the walls he had built around himself. I can't help but feel drawn to you," he admitted, the truth spilling out before he could hold it back. "But I'm terrified of what it means." "Love is scary," Vincent said softly, brushing a thumb across Rei's cheek. "But it's also beautiful. I won't pressure you, but I want you to know how I feel. I care about you more than I ever thought I could." Rei's heart swelled at Vincent's words, the sincerity resonating within him. He felt the barriers he had erected start to crumble, revealing the raw vulnerability he had hidden away for so long. "I've never felt this way about anyone before," he confessed, his voice trembling with emotion. "You've made me see things differently, Vincent. I want to explore this, to see where it can lead." Vincent's expression softened, a mix of relief and joy flooding his features. "Are you sure? Because once you step into this world, there's no going back. I won't let anyone hurt you again, but the path won't always be easy." Rei nodded, his resolve strengthening. "I'm ready to take that risk if it means being with you." Vincent's eyes shone with a mixture of pride and adoration. He leaned in closer, his forehead resting against Rei's. "You have no idea how much that means to me." In that moment, the world around them faded away, leaving only the two of them, suspended in a fragile bubble of connection. Slowly, Vincent closed the distance, capturing Rei's lips with his own in a tender kiss that spoke volumes. Rei melted into the kiss, feeling a rush of warmth and safety envelop him. It was a gentle exploration, a promise of what was to come, and in that instant he realized that he could no longer resist the feelings he had for Vincent. As they pulled away, breathless and with hearts racing, Rei looked into Vincent's eyes and saw the future they could build together, one filled with love, challenges, and unwavering support. The path ahead would be uncertain, but with Vincent by his side, he felt ready to face whatever came their way. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a soft silver light through the large windows of Vincent's study. The room was filled with warmth from a crackling fire, creating a cozy atmosphere that felt like a sanctuary amid the chaos of their lives. Rei sat on the plush sofa, his heart racing as he watched Vincent pour them both a glass of whiskey. The lingering emotions from their earlier conversation hung in the air, thickening the tension between them. Vincent settled beside Rei, his presence radiating comfort. They exchanged quiet smiles, the intimacy of the moment enveloping them. But within Rei, a storm of emotions brewed: fear, hope, and an undeniable longing. "Vincent," Rei began, his voice barely above a whisper, "there's something I need to tell you." Vincent turned to him, his gaze serious yet tender, the flickering firelight casting shadows on his chiseled features. "You can tell me anything." Rei took a deep breath, steadying himself as he gathered his thoughts. "I've spent so long trying to figure out my feelings for you. When we first met, I was hesitant, scared of getting involved in your world. But everything changed after the kidnapping, after you fought to protect me. I saw how much you cared, how far you would go to keep me safe." Vincent's expression softened, his eyes filled with understanding. "Rei." "I didn't want to feel this way," Rei interrupted, his heart pounding. "I thought I could resist it, that I could keep my distance. But the truth is, I've fallen for you, Vincent. I love you." The words hung in the air, heavy with significance. Rei's heart raced, the weight of his confession settling over them like a warm embrace. He looked into Vincent's eyes, searching for any sign of rejection, but finding only warmth and admiration. Vincent's breath caught, and for a moment he seemed speechless. Then a smile broke across his face, brightening the dim room. "You love me?" he repeated, as if savoring the words. Rei nodded, his cheeks flushing with emotion. "I do. I can't explain how or when it happened, but you've changed me. You've shown me a world I never thought I'd want to be a part of, and now I can't imagine my life without you." Vincent leaned closer, his voice thick with emotion. "You have no idea how much those words mean to me. I've felt the same way since the moment I met you, but I was scared of what you would think of my world, scared of scaring you away." Rei's heart swelled at Vincent's admission. "I was scared too, but you've shown me what it means to be brave. You've been my protector, my anchor. I want to be with you, Vincent, through the good and the bad." Vincent reached for Rei's hand, their fingers intertwining. "I promise to protect you, to support you, and to show you that this life can be beautiful, even with its dangers. Together, we can face anything." Rei felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes, overwhelmed by the sincerity of Vincent's words. "I believe that. I want us to create our own path, to make this work despite everything." The air between them shimmered with unspoken promises as they shared a moment of quiet understanding. Vincent leaned in closer, their foreheads touching, the intimacy of their connection palpable. "I love you, Rei," he said softly, his breath warm against Rei's skin. You mean more to me than anything else in this world." Ray's heart soared at the declaration. "And I love you, Vincent. I want to be with you, to build something together, no matter the challenges we face." With their hearts laid bare, the emotional weight of the moment enveloped them, creating a powerful atmosphere charged with possibility. They leaned in, their lips meeting in a tender kiss that conveyed all the emotions they had yet to express. As they pulled away, Ray knew that this was just the beginning of their journey together. The challenges ahead might be daunting, but together they would navigate the complexities of love and life in the shadows of the Mafia. In each other, they had found something worth fighting for, a love that would endure against all odds.